Hey team, it's Melanie here. This is the first of a series of video updates I'm giving you about two pilot trials that I'm running or involved with for two very different purposes. What I want to do is quickly show you a slide that gives you an overview of the pilot program roadmap so that when I'm talking about these things, you'll have a picture of what it looks like. So I'll show you this first and then we'll zip back into some conversation. So really a pilot program is like any other coaching program. It's just a test run, but these are pretty much the four stages that you need to get your head around. There's the preparation, the onboarding of clients, the delivery of your services, and then the wrap up and feedback. Under preparation, there are contracts to think about, the concepts that you're going to introduce into the program, be that information, resources, or discussion points. There's any content that you might need to develop, handouts, worksheets, and those sorts of things. And then how are you going to ensure confidentiality? That's not just about signing a contract, it's also making sure that you're using secure, encrypted online systems. So for example, if you wanted to have a chat group, you'd need to get permission from all people to be part of that WhatsApp group or whatever. And you'd need to think about how and where you store documents, those sorts of things. So everything needs to be private and secure. So I've just been through that process with the two trials that I'm involved with, and also the onboarding is the next step. Onboarding means how are you going to enroll a customer in your program and get them started. So you'll have an email series that welcomes them. You'll have a way to collect payment. There'll be questionnaires that they need to fill in, meeting details, and perhaps also a welcome booklet. If you're in my Passion to Profit course and watching this, you'll know that the pilot program toolkit I created for Module 3 has a sample welcome booklet to give you an idea of what that might look like. Delivery is next, and that's what is your weekly session format going to be? So having an outline is really important, and deciding how you'll support those people in between. Finally, there's wrap up and feedback, where you're getting an overview or discussing the results and outcomes that people have achieved. You're getting their feedback, getting their testimonials if relevant, and figuring out how you'll improve what you're doing. So that's the roadmap. And right now I'm doing two pilot programs, one for 3 women in menopause, and I'm doing that with a colleague. And we're using a platform called PH360, which has an app and it delivers personalized information to those people about food, exercise, sleep, and so on. That's one. And the other one is for a mining group where we are using a wearable. It fits around your wrist. It collects data overnight that feeds data into the app, and it tells the person what their risks are for poor sleep, mental health decline, fatigue, and stress. So the goal of the second program is to help those people to become more self-aware and to take preventive action so that they can maintain their mental fitness for work. So two very different programs. I'll talk about the menopause one first briefly. Myself and a colleague have gone through that process I showed you on the roadmap of what are the contracts we're going to use and how do we ensure confidentiality, not just in the contracts, but also in the systems that we're using. So we've chosen systems that we think are really useful for making sure that information is private and encrypted and not shared. And I will put some links below the video in the description to help you understand the systems that we've chosen to use. With the concepts of the program for menopause, obviously, there are some things that these women are interested in. So our job is to find that out through the program, not to assume that we know. We are plugging them in to the eating, food, exercise, and sleep side of this app. Particularly, we're focusing on that. They get access to a lot more information about themselves from the app, but we're basically leveraging the content provided by the app and adding our own coaching on the top of that to help people implement. So that's worked really well. And we started off the 3 to 4 weeks of preparation that you need for a pilot program roughly involves getting all of those resources together. What are we going to talk about? How are we going to display that? Will we use slides? What else do we need? So we've gone through that process with the first group, and that went really well. And with the other trial, we're looking at that stress and mental health in mining. It's different because we're working with a company who has employees. So we've needed a different type of agreement, and especially since we're collecting biometric data, we needed to be really clear about confidentiality, data privacy and use and those sorts of things. That group will have some training around psychological first aid, and they will also have a coaching session in the middle to help them become self-aware and to use the data to help them with that. So that's an overview of the two programs. So far, we've done the prep work for both. And I want to just say one thing about the preparation. There's actually a lot to think about, and I've mentioned that on the slide. I think once you put yourself in the customer's shoes and you have to kind of walk through every step of the way to really figure out what you need to have and what's missing. For example, in the menopause project, people are going to get a welcome email. It's going to have links to a Zoom meeting that they'll be attending every week. So we need to set the Zoom meeting up, and we'll need to have some sort of a welcome questionnaire for them to fill out. And they'll need to have a one-to-one session first with us to learn about their personal profile in the app. So by talking through every step of the journey, we've managed to get all of the stuff worked out. And because I'm co-presenting that one with someone else, we even said who's going to talk to which slide, who's going to facilitate, because we had 2 or 3 slides to prompt a group discussion. So we worked out how we were going to structure the session. With the other program that I'm working in, that's going to be a lot simpler because there's a third party that's delivering training. And my job initially is to help with that pilot program, get it up and running, get all of the people onboarded with questionnaires about where they'll be, whether they have connection to Wi-Fi or not so they can sync their data, all of those sorts of things. So it's a different proposition, but I will be delivering one-to-one coaching for those guys in the middle of the program. So I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot of logistics in the beginning, a lot of planning, and you need to go down to the nitty-gritty detail, imagining yourself in the customer's shoes so you can think about what would they like, how would they like to receive it, how will it work best, what will make things easy for them, how can we have one less email that they have to worry about, or make it effortless for them to get instructions to set up a device or whatever it is. That's an initial overview of how I've gotten started. And the first week's been successful for my one trial. The other one's about to get started. So I'm in the middle there. Keen to hear any questions you have. Thanks for watching. See you soon.